episode of Becoming the Product. I'm Naya, your host as usual. Happy Monday. I hope your week has started out fine. And in today's episode, I have another sweet guest to come and tell us a story about how product management works in the banking sector. Her name is Linda Madu. Hello, Linda. Hope you are doing well.
Thank you so much, Naya. Thank you so much for this opportunity. And yes, I am fine. I'm doing very well.
Thank you so much, Linda, for joining us today. I'm really excited to hear your story and how you transitioned into the banking sector as a product manager. So can you just give a brief overview of how you were able to do that and your experience so far in the banking sector?
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so I like to call myself an accidental product manager because I never experienced. So my banking history started, my banking experience started from, I was just a relationship manager. So I was a relationship manager. That's what they call marketers, in layman terms, for 5 years. And you know how marketing is with the targets, the expectations, the very, very high expectations, and milestones that you need to achieve, before the end of the year. And owing to the fact also that tech became a buzzword, like everybody was now moving into tech, and it kind of piqued my interest. I was like, okay, fine, I think this is something I can do, something that is away from marketing, and I began to research on the truth is I began to research for no-code techs because I realized that even if I want to learn a code tech, I'll rather do it in an offline class. I think I'm old school. I'd rather do it in a class where I ask questions. I'll ask you, why are we doing this code? Why should we write this code? Why must we follow these rules? And most of the online courses I've seen, online courses, you can't ask the instructor because it's already recorded. You just have to take in what they've, prepared in the courses. So I tried, I took a data analysis course, and I finished it. I finished the whole course, and I was now ready. What I actually chose to be a data analyst, I chose it. I was like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And after taking the course, I was now looking out for opportunities, that will now help me practice what I've learned so far in data analysis. And then there was this vacancy in the organization because one of the policies of First Bank is that they have to first of all, if there's a vacancy, they have to first of all look for people that can cover up those spaces internally. Then when they can't find them internally, then they go externally. So they advertised it internally, and I applied. To be very honest, I applied reluctantly. In fact, I applied, I did the first interview, I passed. And when they sent me a mail that I was successful in the first interview and they are going to schedule me for another interview, that was when I had to go and read up on product management. Like I had to take like a crash course. I started reading up what's product management about. Okay, reading so that, I'll smash the second one. And that was it. And one particular thing I noticed is that, okay, it's almost like marketing, but the tech part of marketing, because, you are now managing that product. So basically that's my story on how I became a product manager.
Wow, truly, truly accidental. I like the part where you said it was the second interview. You're like, okay, I need to go and prepare for this. Were there any specific skills or traits that are like particularly important if you want trying to do product management in the bank?
Oh yes, because the banking sector, of course, is highly regulated. So from the courses I read and things I read online about product management, it looks like a free world. Like, oh, you're ideating, you're thinking of products, you're thinking out of the box, everything is possible, but that's not how it works in the banking sector because we are constrained. It's not every product. Some products can be fine, but there are policies like CBN policy. What does the policy say? What does NDIC policy say? You have to factor in all those things. And you see that, even though this product is really nice, it might not really work. So one of the skills that you actually need as a product manager in a bank is to be aware of the industry you are working for. It's a highly regulated industry. So you need to know your policies, you need to know the banking policies, you need to know CBN policies that govern products, that govern services. And then you need to know how each product or the role, how would I put it, bank is more of, they are more profit driven. Yes, that's the word. They are more profit driven.
Yeah.
So you need to know that these products you are bringing out will sell and it will bring profit to the bank. It's not just about, we want to dish out an app or something, to the public. It must be something that that if we put this out by the end of the year, they are going to see streamlines of profit. So one of the skills, the first skill I've already mentioned, is you have to know your industry very well. Then the second thing, you have to be very, very profit oriented. That's another skill.
That's interesting to know, because normally when you look at product management, if you're not really looking to niche it down, it's pretty vague, it's pretty wide. But know that now that in the banking sector, you need to look at some other things outside just the product management itself. You need to look at regulations and all of that.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not just the theory product management. It's quite different in the banking sector. It's not you just being free to just think of something and start building. There's a whole lot that goes into that process.
Thank you for that insight. I mean, I think now we all have a bigger idea of how this works. Okay, could you walk us through how a typical life cycle of a product is in the banking setting, from when you guys ideate to when it's launched?
Okay. First of all, I think, so somebody first of all asked me on Twitter that, do banks really have product managers? And many people were thinking that, it must be a tech company, that had product manager became like a new buzzword like 3 years ago. So people now started putting attention into that theme. So why I had to say this before the process of how banks bring up products, because the truth is that most banks already have products. So coming in, savings account is a product. Current account is a product. Your ATM card is a product. The ATM machine is a product. The loans, the different types of loan, maybe loan for women, loans for farmers, all those things are all products. And the banks have always had product managers for those products. Maybe the only thing could have been that the nomenclature then was not product management or a product manager. So the process for getting, I'll speak for myself, because being a product manager, I came in and, banks, if you become a product manager in a bank tomorrow, you just have to manage an existing product. You get
an existing product.
Yes, because all bank products are already existing. Now, but once in a while, you see banks coming up with new things, maybe a new type of app or something, a new type of account or something. So how it works is, first of all, you are mandated to come up with ideas. I'll give my own organization as an example. There's a portal we have. It's called Imaginate. That's where people from different departments, different branches, you don't necessarily have to be a product manager. That's where people go to dump in products, product ideas. So they just, you can go there and, look at it and say, this thing can work in my department. Once in a while, they just summarize those ideas. They can do that quarterly, summarize those ideas, and then send to all departments that most of the ideas speak to their product. And then you begin to pick out the one that you can work on. And then you have to, when you do that, you have to have meetings with your stakeholders, of course, the developers, the sales team, of course, who are going to sell your product when it's ready. Then your line manager, of course, you need their support if that product will really get to, the executives and the hierarchy of managers. So you need their support. So when that is done, of course, banking, everything has to be written down. It's not just word of mouth. So you need to write an approval. Yes, a written approval. You state your justifications, why you think we need this product, what this product will do for the bank. You kind of do an analysis of the profit that could come out of, launching that particular product. Yes, and then of course there are going to be series of meetings, deliberations, the risk. Banks are very risk averse. Like whenever you have an idea, the first thing the bank wants to know is this product going to expose us to fraudsters? Is this product going to be a brand, affect our brand image? Is this product something that is allowed by CBN? Let me give you an example. Cryptocurrency. We know that crypto is not something for now that banks are allowed to trade on or to produce products for. So imagine you, as a product manager, you come up with a crypto app or something, it will die dead. Like you can't even make it, you can't even write it in the form of a paper. So those are things they need to analyze and see if they can approve. And then when you get your approval, then of course you also need CBN approval in most cases, especially for something that is, especially if that product is something that has never been done before in the industry. CBN want to understand that, okay, maybe they'll look for their policies, which of these statements in their policies sounds like something that can back up this product. And then when you get those series of approvals, you can now start doing your BRDs, start holding your sprint meetings, meet with your developers to start developing it, and your testing and everything. And then when it's ready, you can now do your launches, do flyers, make noise, train the branch staff. If it's something that's going to be done in the branches, you train branch staffs on how to use it. If it's something that will be done by customers, then you train the sales team, who in turn trains the customer. So that's basically, and then when the product is now fully functional, then you have to do a product paper. So a product paper is a very, I won't call it bulky, but at least the ones I've done is like minimum of 30 pages. So that's where you're going to write about the product, write about who the target market, the industry view of the product, the income projections of the product. And we do product papers for all existing products. So any product you can think of now in the bank, your savings account, your kids account, there's a product paper for it, and it's being reviewed every year. So every year they'll look at it. Oh, has this thing changed? Has this thing not changed? What should we change? Is this still the process? Is this still the process of a customer? Is this like a user journey? Is the user journey still the same? What's the policy saying about it? So you keep doing that. So every product has a product paper. So you do your product paper, it's signed off, and then you are fine. Your product is ready, your product is approved, and also every other thing you will now be doing is, watching the growth, the revenue from your products.
Wow. Just when I thought I was done with product documentation.
No. There are so many papers, so many things to read.
Why are there so many documentation? Why are there so many papers? Why are there so many writing?
Yes.
Like, okay.
Like I said earlier, that bank is highly regulated. So we usually have external auditors. We have auditors from, of course, this audit firm, KPMG, Ernst & Young. They always come around to see, they'll come and audit your processes, audit things you've done. And this thing is already laid down by the regulators. So you just have to be on point. You just have to make sure that you've covered every gap from your own desk. So there are lots of papers, documents, that covers for a particular product.
Thank you so much.
And accounting, I forgot to add it. I think that was one of my little challenge in product management so far, is you have to understand accounting. Not accounting, but you need to know the ledgers, because every bank product has something to do with money. So you need to know the ledgers that will be touched by that your product, and everything has to balance. So for every debit, there has to be the credit leg, just it's like a broad thing.
I remember now, when you were mentioning that Froster initially, I had like goosebumps. I was like, I remember what I used to do with Froster when I worked in the bank. It wasn't...
Yes, everything. You need to check it against fraud.
Eye needs to be open. Your inner eye needs to see things. Are there other challenges that you have experienced as a product manager, or just the accounting bit?
Challenges. Okay, so far it would be post-launch challenges. So you've done all your tests in the test environment. Your product is working fine in that environment, and everything has been signed off. You have launched your product, and customers are now using it live. Branches are now using it live, and it's failing. That's a
Wow.
very big challenge. Yes, and one thing I tell people, I think like my family people, they know I work in a bank. So when they see things trending on Twitter, I tell them the banking view of that thing trending, they will just become quiet. So for instance, if something mobile app, let me give mobile app is like a regular everyday. There's a product manager for every app for the bank mobile app. So imagine that XYZ bank app is not working, and you know that on Twitter is on fire. That person is on a hot seat, because the product manager has to call. There'll be a series of meetings. What's wrong? What can we fix? What caused this? What's the glitch? In some cases, there was a case of last year. It's not my bank, another bank. They just upgraded to like a version 2 of their app, and that day they upgraded, it failed. People were sacked that day.
Wow.
So you have to be like, the post-launch issues, the post-launch glitches of the product is like a huge challenge. Like you have to be, you just have very long days, because you have to be having meetings, stakeholders, you have to be fixing things. You need to be seeing what the fixes they are doing, both on test environment, live environment. Oh, it's something. It's really something.
Wow. Like, you just made me scared right now.
It's not that scary. You have support, of course. You have support. You have people that will support you, And in fact, there's a recent one I have now, like a post-launch issue, and I was almost giving up. Like, I was just tired. I can't even do any other thing. And my immediate supervisor just told me, Linda, I know it's not your fault, and I know you are not the person that caused it, because as a product manager, I'm not the one that wrote the code. I only manage those people and pass information. So, like, I was telling them that if I wrote the code, I would go straight right there on my system to fix it. So you have to depend on so many people. You have to depend on the developer. You have to depend on maybe somebody in cyber security. You have to depend on so many other people. So you will have support. It's not something scary. So long as you don't take somebody's money, it's not something scary at all.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Linda. You've been so insightful this episode. So as we're rounding up, for individuals who are aspiring to be product managers in the banking sector, people that want to go into product management in the banking sector, what advice would you give them?
Oh, okay. So anybody coming to the banking sector, it's a very challenging sector, actually. It will shake you, but you will love the experience. In fact, that experience will make you, I think, working in a bank, even if it's 2 years, you have an experience of somebody who, a non-banking experience that has at least maybe 5 years. So you have a lot to learn if you're going to work in the banking sector. And you have to roll up your sleeves. And in the banking sector, it's not really about certifications, it's about what you can do. So even if getting these certifications are they are okay and fine, it's very fine, for your career, and the rest. But it's the practical, your practical examples, your practical, what you bring out, what you dish out, who you are. Like, your results will speak for you rather than your certificate. So anybody planning on coming to, I will encourage anybody. Yeah, it's a very wonderful, that's been a wonderful experience. And I think anybody that wants to try it should.
Okay. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence today, Linda. I really appreciate it. I wanted someone that worked on the bank as I did to come and share a story of how product management works there. And I'm very, very excited that you helped us with that. And hello, guys. So if you have any questions, if you need any feedback that you need to drop, you can always drop it on my DMs, or you send a voice message on Spotify, and I'll see you next week. Thank you so much, Linda.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. Bye.